Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Benedicta, and this is Family Life on Adwa TV. Today, we have another interesting topic to discuss with you, and it is my hope that at the end of the session, you learn a great deal from it. Most of us have taken the vow already, others are yet to, and some are also thinking of taking it. But then, have you thought of the essence of these vows that we take? Today, we'll be looking at understanding the essence of marriage vows. That's our topic for today. And I'm so pleased to have two special people with me in the studio here to discuss this very important topic. I've missed them, and I know you've also missed them. On my far right is Reverend Felix Parker Benin. Reverend is from Shepherd's Field Chapel. Reverend, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And on my immediate right is Evangelist Patrick Tego, CEO, Purity Flag Foundation. Patrick, you are welcome. With these two great men here, I believe we are going to have a very educative session today. So stay tuned. And if you think there is someone who also needs to hear this, make sure you call that person to join us. This is Family Life on Adwa TV. Now, moving on to today's topic. Let me start with Reverend. Reverend, we hear people say, "Oh, I've taken a vow. I've taken a vow," and then looking at marriage too, we do take vows. But then someone might ask, "Oh, what at all is a vow? Is it just like a promise?"
Yeah, a vow is a promise, but a vow is a promise of an intent. All right, you have an intention, you make that promise to it. Now, it is not just a promise of an intent, but it's a promise of an intent to a deity, to an action, to a service, or to a person. So you have an intention, and that intention is carried out in your promise. So it's like spelling out a promise. Sorry, spelling out your intent in a form of a promise to a person.
Patrick would like to hear from you as well.
I agree with him. I have no other.
Okay, Reverend, so it's your intent,
Sure.
okay, that you bring out. So more or less, it's like making the other person get to know what you have in mind.
Exactly.
All right. So why should it be so important?
It's important because I am not in your mind.
Okay.
You're also not in my mind. But I'm seeing your actions. And if we will ever want to stay together, be it in terms of vow, so be it marriage, be it any other relationship, or be it divinity and humanity, then there should be a declaration of that intent in the form of a promise, so that I get to know what is on your mind, so that if you act in a certain way, I would either see it is it's contradicting your vow, is contradicting your lifestyle, or is in consonance with your lifestyle.
All right. But Patrick, since you agreed with Reverend, we do make vows to, as Reverend mentioned, deities, a person, or to something. And I asked if it's important. Reverend said yes. I believe you'll also say yes.
Yeah, I have to say yes because it's yes. Let me back it with this scripture. You know, the Bible says, with the heart man believes, but with the mouth confession is being made. So it's not just a matter of believing what you've seen or what you desire or your intentions, like he said, but you need to make the declaration out. Let me hear the thing so that it will be recorded down, and then we just zoom into it, and then we just flow with it. So it's very, very important.
Okay, so if we are looking at a vow, what should be the most important things in a vow that a person will take?
And then, like he said, you know one thing, I am of the opinion that sometimes when people are settling down, we should allow them to make their own vows. I'm not going to marry for you because we've seen so many challenges within the system where these men will tell you, where these schoolboys who are not matured and don't know well about marriage will tell you that somebody read something for me to repeat. And so it's like a formality. It's in the booklet. I open the thing and say, follow me. When I say just read it, when I say just, I mean, allow the person to bring out what is within them with the guide of the minister. So when you go out there and then you mess up, you have no right to blame somebody, just like Adam did. And then he started blaming God for his errors. So sometimes I believe people should be given the free will just to bring out what is within them. And I believe it will be a perfect match to make the relationship enjoyable. Yeah.
Reverend, you've mentioned people or things that we make vows to. Will that sum up types of vows?
No, yeah, sort of, but the how do I put it? The words in the vows mix the type of vows.
Okay.
All right, there are several types of vows, but the ones that are very common, we have the Jewish vow,
Okay.
and they took that one from the book of Songs of Solomon,
All right.
where Solomon said, "My beloved is mine, and I am my beloved." So they couch it around that area. Then what the Protestant, what they call it, a vow, which also has to do with the one we know, for better for worse.
Yeah.
Then we have the African vow. All right, the African vow is mostly built on the culture of the Africans, which deals with most of their religion. You know, religion and culture go hand in hand. All right, where you would want to swear to a deity because for them, if you fool, then you have to be dealt with. And then we have the self vow, where Reverend is talking about you decide what you want.
Okay.
All right. But the content of, or let me say, the message in the vow determine what type it is.
Okay. Okay. So, Brother Patrick, we can't say we have like specific vows.
No, it depends.
Okay.
I've seen two people getting married and then they just meet a deity and then they have to present the vows to the deity.
Okay.
So once you mess up, 6 feet.
Okay. Okay. Patrick, can we say vows are important?
Auntie Benet is very, very important. You know, I was reading a particular book yesterday. I couldn't even complete the whole thing. One thing in life that I have come to understand, we are being guided by rules and regulations. Can you imagine a world without rules and regulations in the country, in our family, at our workplaces? Can you just have a picture of what is going to happen? Crossing the road without looking left and right, come to this work, sit anywhere, eat anywhere, do anything anyhow without rules and regulations. So the same thing, I believe that when we are going to get settled down in marriage, because we are human and we can't tell the full experience of anybody we are going to settle down with, there should be something there to guide us, to remember us. I wonder how many people go back to watch their wedding videos, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, and then just listen to yourself in that church auditorium, eyeball to eyeball with that beautiful damsel. And the very words you were releasing, when some of these men were even shaking and vibrating, because only one thing rings a bell in their mind. Also, for we in them, now you call a baby. So even the idea and the perception about the whole thing sometimes make it very cheap. And people see it like a restation. Oh, blah, 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 blah. They will walk away. We don't value the thing. But remember, where there are words and spirit, it becomes too dangerous to joke with. The Bible says the words I speak unto you, they are life and then. So if you just make something like, let me go there, pour anything out and walk away, remember you've spoken. And these deities are around, spirits are around, and they hold on to the very thing, especially standing in front of a minister in the house of God. And you think you rantle something and then you just walk away. One day, your own words will hold you back. And that is why we need to be very cautious about some of these things. That it's not a joke, it's a serious thing, it's a matter of life and death. And so people should take it more serious than the parties and other things that follows after the whole thing. This is where the center is, and we should be committed to whatever we stand to do on that particular day. So it's very, very important to me. We can't do without it. We need it.
Okay. But Patrick, it looks like you only get to hear the vow on the day. during counseling, I don't know if they mentioned that.
Within the counseling section, I believe ministers are able to highlight these couples, the intensity about what you are going to declare on that very day. They are being taught, their things are being explained to them. So you go back and then you psych yourself and then you prepare yourself very well before you get there on that day. It is not a matter of the someone has taken the booklet and opened it and say, recite that, I mean, one back, one back, one back, one back, and then we keep going. No, 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 no. The man has given you an idea what is going to happen. Now it's up to you to go back to God and see the commitment level with what I am about to declare on that day. The people in the church are witnesses to what you are going to declare on that day. And one day, should anything happen, they will hold you back by your own words. And that is why we need to be very careful.
Hmm. So, Reverend, it looks like these vow that we take, it is very, very, very important.
I should add the word extremely important.
Mm.
Extremely important. Because let me give you a little history about this vow thing.
Okay.
In the Catholic era, marriage was free. So you may either bring a sheep or something.
Okay.
And before this sheep or any proceed of the farm will exchange hands for the bride, you'll have to promise that I'm going to take care of this, blah, 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 blah. And that was the beginning of the vows. And it has evolved till now. Now, the question is, why would they do that? Because you just give me a sheep or a goat, and you have to give me your word. So it is based on my word was the commodity for taking the woman. It was like buying, and your word was taken very serious. So if you went in for somebody's daughter and you went with a sheep, the sheep or whatever commodity you had was meant for compensation, all right, as a respect. But in natural sense, the woman is given to you for free. But what they need from you is the word. So if the word comes out of you, then you are bound. You are bound. So the necessity of it is you being bound. It's like me going to a deity and promising, if you do ABC for me, I'll serve you with my life. I am bound by that word. It's like a covenant. So anywhere I go, that word follows me. Whatever I do, that word defines what I do. And we don't just say it. Marital counseling goes through word by word, phrase by phrase, sentence by sentence of the marriage covenant. You are made to understand. And then that is where, in the charismatic circles, people then begin to fuse in their own words. All right. But if we want to go by the Protestant, what they call it, vows, has stood the test of time. And it's one of the best, all right, because it binds you. The words we say are so powerful. It is said that when I pour water, I can easily clean. When I mess up anywhere, I can easily clean. But when I release words, I can't take them back. And that is how important words in the vows are.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
So some probably did not think about this when they took those vows.
Yeah, how can they? When their excitement and only one thing in their brains is for the wedding to be completed, for me to get to five-star hotel and enjoy what I have. But I believe that sometimes, even after the wedding, you should go back to your hotel room, wherever you're going to enjoy, sit back and play back the words you release whilst in the church. The Fantis have a proverb. They keep saying that nipa be wu nanso ni tekrama deɛ ɛwɔ hɔ daa. And so words you can't joke with. Very precious, very important. So sometimes I sit back. Just recently, I was trying to watch my wedding video and then some tears in my eyes. I was like, let me see God in chambers. Honestly speaking, I need to. The video was not for fun. It's just to give you remembrance. Because when I look at the statement, when I was just coming, I just tried to pull this thing. And even while I was on the way coming, I was asking myself, the day I stood in the church and I mentioned my name, take you now to be my wedded wife or husband, and listen to it. It said, to have and to hold from this day forever, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness or in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part. The funny aspect of this is sometimes when you are reciting some of these things, and the church members will help you. They will back it. They will be releasing. That is what makes it more dangerous. And that is why I have my fears. When people do not understand what they say or even what they speak, that is the essence of we trying to challenge counselors, ministers of the gospel, to wake up and make people responsible of what they say on that faithful day. So we should teach them, we should guide them, we should give them examples of those who live right to those words and those who also break that covenant, and then they have their free will. It is not free will, the consequences are there. So people should just be very careful about what they are going through. Recently, I had a discussion with some young couples who wanted to get married by Christmas time, and then they went for counseling. The lady suggested that they need to see me before they go. I am not the perfect man when it comes to counseling, but I believe God speaks through us a lot, and we can hear wisdom from God. So I pull this thing, these traditional wedding vows, and I asked the young man, in sickness or in health, after your wedding on that faithful day, should you get to the hotel room, wherever you want to enjoy the honeymoon, then this lady falls sick, and the doctor declares this woman vegetable forever, will you still hold and cherish? Will you still hold and love? And the guy was crying. Counseling session. It's also for way deep. Did you understand the thing before you start preparing towards somebody's daughter marriage? Too deep. Genuine love will still stand the test of time. I've heard women struggling with men today, and they tell them, if I knew this is how your life was supposed to be, I wouldn't have married you. When you were reciting that phrase, in richer or in poorer, what was going through your mind? So understanding gives you a knowing. Once I get understanding about something, then I know how to adjust myself and then flow with it. I know men who got married, they lost their job for 5, 6 years, and the women are taking care of the entire house, and nobody hears about it. So we should be very careful, very, very mindful. I wanted to go back and renew my vow, but I'm waiting for something. Yeah, I have to. Sometimes it's good to do that. Yeah.
Reverend, let's pause on the marriage a little. Can we also make vows to our parents?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
And vice versa. Parents can also make vows
Right.
to children. And there are several reasons why we make vows to parents. Maybe we have fallen short of the expectation, or we have embarked on a journey when they are not approving of. All right, maybe I want to go to school and I'm offering, say, I've been offered medicine, and I said I can't do it. I want to do architecture, and parents are like, no, 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 no. Then I want to make a vow to them that you'll be thinking that, oh, I can't do this, but you give me a chance, let me do this. And if I do this A, B, C, D, D, and that's a vow.
Right.
All right. So it depends on what situation you find yourself in, and then you make that vow. But parents make vow to children as well. Oh, if you pass your exams, I will do this and that for you. Or if all things go well, if you keep yourself this way and you do this thing, I'm going to do this. That's a vow.
And do we have a distinction between a vow and a promise?
Sure. The vow, all right, sometimes are made with intent. All right. Promises are made, it's also made with intent, but much more because there is what do you call it, more details with that of the vow, which also end up with deities. Anytime you make a vow, most of the times there are deities involved.
Okay.
All right. So that's why in the church, if you're doing it, we tell you you're doing it before God.
Okay.
All right. So when there's deity involved, then it's a vow. But when there's no deity involved, then it's a promise.
Okay. Reverend, say some of our viewers, you are using big English. Intent. What is intent?
Intent is your intention.
All right.
So what you, or let me say, expectation.
Okay.
All right. So what I am expected of, if I want to go to school, all right, why do I want to go to school? So if I'm making a promise by going to the school, then I have to spill out the intent, the intention for wanting to go to school.
Okay. Okay. Roderick, you mentioned you'd like to renew your vows. Is it okay? Like, say you took the vows, now you want to change it.
Burden. A burden, honestly. The only way you can change the few things I know is to upgrade rather than degrading the thing.
Okay.
You can upgrade it, and then that is where the level, I think, can carry it through. Just like what Hannah did in the scripture, the Bible says Hannah made a vow. She vowed a vow to God, and she was able to fulfill that vow. As a result of Hannah being able to fulfill that vow, there were many other things that followed that she didn't even ask for, but God brought it to her. So people should, I just want them to have the click that, listen, it is not joke. It is not a recitation. It is not a rhyme for me to have it on paper and study it overnight and go and pour it in the church and walk away. It is a serious thing. And God is watching. God, if nobody is watching, God is watching. And so men should wake up, women should wake up. I could see you were shaking yourself. I don't know whether you also want to have some renewal of vows. Maybe, but today the way you throw the question, as if you are having some vibration. Yeah. So let's all wake up and then do the needful. It is very important. We should all go back, have a reflection, the promises we made and everything, and then we just make sure that we are just committed to it.
It's just that sometimes you don't see the seriousness of some of the things. Yeah, but then later you realize.
Maybe you didn't fall into the hands of like Rev and other people that I know. We have ministers who are jokers and they believe in the fancy aspect of the whole thing than the reality. So you go for counseling section, there are ministers who will tell you simple things and they will not tell you the detailed. Until you get there and you begin to experience, then you begin to ask questions like, hey, I never knew this was part of the package. When you were buying the mobile phone, the package, you have your earpiece, you have the battery, everything was in there for you. But probably your interest and your focus was on the phone and not the other way around. So I think people should wake up. It is no joke. It is no joke. Go and ask those who are divorced and ask them whether they are divorced and they are still excited. Within them, they are still struggling. They are still struggling. So I believe making a vow to God, take time to work it out, prepare yourself physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. Then when you know you are fit for this task, then you can move ahead and do it. If you think you are not ready, just walk out and go back. You are not making it to the woman. Fine, you are promising that woman or that man, but God is the witness and He's watching. So why would you deceive yourself when you knew very well that you were not ready for it? So the school boys and the school girls should wake up. Marriage is not meant for boys and girls, and the boys and girls are messing up. Matured people enter into marriage because they have the brains and they have the experience. It does not take money to marry, it takes maturity to marry. When you are matured, you understand. Rev is here. He might be in the house with the wife, and there are things the wife will do he wouldn't like to hear, or he might be vexed about it. But the way he handles it and goes about it tells you he's mature. But these schoolboys, they will slap you. They will insult your great grandmother who died 15 years back. They will tell you things you wouldn't want to hear. And you begin to ask yourself, where were the vows that were made in the church towards me? These are schoolboys. They need to grow. They need to learn. They need to get experience. Marriage is not for boys and girls. I will repeat that 20 times. The man doesn't have money and the wife comes for chop money and they start saying, man, fine, no money, but you are mature, you are the man. So find a better way to handle the issue than the screaming. When you say to hold and to cherish, somebody's precious damsel and you talk to her anyhow in the name of 1,500 Ghana cedis, do you know her worth? And the women also that can insult the men, and the men will look into the mirror and ask questions to themselves, am I a man? So these things, I believe once in a while we should psych ourselves up, have them maybe in a framed way where it will be in your room. Anytime you get there, it will give you an alert. Hey, I made these vows. Anytime you get there, hey, I made these vows. So this thing will be a guy. Everybody should frame it. Have it in your bedroom, in your hall, in your kitchen, in your toilet, wherever you can have it. Just place it over there. So that once you start seeing this thing, when you open up your mouth to talk or take an action, you will think twice.
Right. We see that marriage is instituted in the Bible. But then what of the vows?
Okay. There is a man known as Thomas Comber, and he is known to be the architect of the Presbyterian liturgies. And he instituted these vows. It began with King Henry of England, who then had 4 wives and wanted to marry the 5th wife. And the Pope then restricted him, and he broke away, forming the Anglican Church. And it was this man who have to help him legally and then instituted those things so that there will be regulation. It's not in the Bible, but if you pick the Jewish vow, it's from the Bible, because then you have the book of, Songs of Solomon, all right? And it is from that is deduced. When we say it's not from the Bible, it is not handpicked, all right? But some scriptures are picked to deduce. So we may call it is biblical, all right? But it's not a text from the Bible. And so it makes it there are only few things that were brought to just add up to it. And the essence of it is to make a person bound. And another word for it is to be responsible for what you are claiming. You know, human beings have this insatiable desire. You have a car, today you are happy. Tomorrow you want 2 cars. The next day you want 6 cars. Another day you want a brand new car. And so, thinking of all those things, a man has a wife and he sees another lady and he wants. And so, if you are bound to this, then you are not going to leave this one to take that one. It is meant to regulate that marriage. That's how it was brought up.
Okay. So what if you are not leaving that person, but then you want to add some to it?
Then you are leaving the ordinance to another. So then we have to go to the traditional vow. All right. And that is where you might go to swear at a lesser, or let me say, to a deity.
Okay.
All right. So the family, all right, or the family head will have to send you through some declarations. And they will have to tell you the consequences if you fail to adhere to what you're saying. Yeah.
I haven't witnessed that one for the traditional one.
Maybe you're not from a royal home, and mostly it's done by the traditional priest.
All right.
Otherwise, it is done by the head of the family, which we call the Busapening.
Okay.
And so the Busapening from the royal home will be brought. And then they'll tell you, you're coming for our Odyssey,
Okay.
all right, our royal. And these are the things you're supposed to go through. You believe it, You accept it, then you narrate them.
Okay. Baratrick, now looking at the importance of the vows that we take, would you then advise that if I realize I can't do this, then there is no need for me to continue with it?
But now it's very simple. I get to the market to buy some stuff. I have 10 Ghana, you mentioned 30 Ghana. Simple wisdom tells me walk away. What do I need to do else?
Oh,
So,
sometimes you can be down the price.
but you will not get it as such. Sometimes you will talk and talk and talk and talk, and still the woman will tell you, my last price is 25, and you're having 10. So get back and relax. I have seen couples who are planning to settle down. They get for counseling section. At the point they were able to tell the minister, I'm not ready. This guy is my friend. He just walked out. But they still remains to be friends. He said, listen, the things I am hearing and the information that are coming, when I look at myself and this woman, I wouldn't want to deceive her. I am not ready. So let's just back up. And they canceled the wedding. Went back peacefully, and I applauded him. It's better to dissolve the marriage at that level than to settle down and then take it to court. So it's very simple. When you think it's too heavy for you, relax and go back. Even at the universities, they will tell you, this semester I want to defer this course and go back and come back in a year's time. That means something is wrong somewhere. Let me go and work it out. Once I get it, I will come back and continue from where I left it. So we shouldn't force ourselves. Through the counseling period, you think, Charlie, where things are heading towards to, I am not ready. In all humility, just go to God and thank him for giving you the insight and then pull out. Forget about the money you spend on little things. God will open other doors for you to go through. So people shouldn't force them to go. I have seen many couples being forced to settle down in marriages. The guy wanted to pull out, and the family of this young lady were like, we've gone far. And I was asking, how far? From here to Kintampo or where? No matter the distance, you can still come back. This is life and death. People seem not to get the essence and the value of marriage. And we see it to be like a normal thing. So anything at all gets into it, and then they start running with it. But time will tell. See somebody married for 20 years, 25 years, 15 years, and they're still together, go and ask them. Their experiences are not in books, but they will tell you, this is how I was able to go through. So we shouldn't push ourselves in things we know we can handle. And yeah, by force. And then they just walk out. And even I believe counselors will also be of a little help. When you know where these people are coming from, and through the process of the counseling, you should be able to tell whether these two people can live together or not. You should be able to tell. That is why I believe in premarital counseling. You know, when we start it earlier, you are able to get most of this information than when you fix your wedding date and also tells you come for counseling session. You will be in front of the man of God and you are still thinking about your wedding dress, thinking about your shoe, thinking about your chains, and you will not focus on what is coming and what you are supposed to get. So I think we should be very careful. It is not by force. I've seen boyfriend, girlfriends, and they break up easily. Maza, baby, I didn't do it. Mean to me. And it's simple, it's life. So go your way, let me go. Maybe I'll get a better person that I can be able to be compatible with and we'll settle down together. So there is no force in this. If you can't handle it, just walk out peacefully. It's far better off that way.
Okay. Understanding the essence of marriage vows is our topic for today. And Reverend Felix Parker Benin and Evangelist Patrick Tego are here helping us to look at the importance that we are talking about. Now, if you didn't know, today you've learned the vows are very important. So for those of you who are now thinking about getting married, you need to reconsider and think again if you can go by the vow that you take. My name is Benedicta, and this is Family Life on Adwa TV. Remember, Family Life is brought to you by the Men's Fellowship of the Anglican Diocese of Accra. We'll go for a quick break. We'll be right back.
Imagine a world where everybody, in fact 60% of the population, is screened and educated on breast cancer. A world where women do not have to die because of breast cancer. Just imagine. That is why Senator Ghana and its partners are coming together to organize a free breast cancer screening from the 1st of October to the 31st of October at 8 branches: the Tema branch, the Wager branch, and the OC branch. If that is not all, they have discounts on all their mammogram and breast ultrasound scans as well. Take advantage of this opportunity and know your status. Don't forget, breast cancer is curable. Don't be a victim. Don't stay at home. Come around, come and check, and let's do this together. I need you alive. My name is Gladys Acheroxen, CEO of Landmark Agency, organizers of Miss Health Ghana, and an entrepreneur. See you this October. Bye.
Welcome back from the break. This is Family Life on Adwa TV. Today we are looking at understanding the essence of marriage vows, and Evangelist Patrick Tego and Reverend Felix Parker-Benin are here helping us to look at this very important topic. Before we went on the break, we've looked at the importance of the vows that we take or the vows that we make during marriage, and also to people and services as well. Now we'll be moving on to the marriage vows that we take. We'll go deep into it to look at the words. Reverend, you've been officiating, so you know the words of head. Please take us through.
Now, the words are couched in such a way that a person is weaved in his thoughts, his emotions, and then in his words to the person is going to marry. They start by saying, with this ring, I thee word. The word itself, all right, has to do with, it's like you're going to bargain, all right, and then you are covenanting yourself. Using the ring gives you the understanding of the elements in the ring. We use what they call it, a gold. And every gold ring is an alloy. It's a combination of the gold itself and some other material. It could be silver, it could be copper, mix. Because the original gold itself is soft. Okay. So to make it hard, they add another.
Reverend, please let me come in a little. Now, we don't all use gold. Some use different things. So
I'm giving you
a change
from the beginning how it started.
All right. Okay.
All right. Now, and even if you want to use a silver or whatever, most rings are alloyed.
All right.
Otherwise, it's not strong.
Okay.
So the combination.
Okay.
All right. Now, and then when it comes to, let me come to this area. To love and to hold. All right. Or to hold and to cherish. I'm using this three phrases. To love. Love begins with a capacity. All right. You can't love somebody without having a capacity. We talk about having a capacity. The first element of having capacity is to love yourself. You have to know what love is. All right. Enjoy love before you can give love. I love myself so much that I can give you some of my love. All right? So the way I love myself is the way I'm going to love you. Okay? I love you so much that when I hold you, I feel like I'm holding myself. To love and to hold. To hold is not just to touch.
Okay.
All right? That holding is to, what do you call it? Keep. All right? Maintain. So I'm loving you to maintain you and to cherish. Cherish is an old English word, we call it an archaic word, which means to build. And this is where we fail. Because I have picked you from your father or your mother or your parents, and I'm going to improve your life. So to build you up, I am building you up to my expectation. I am building you up for us to be a fit to the future we desire to be. Now, anything short of this is just an art, a gimmick, or a recitation. I want to put for better, for worse at the end. Now, your home will be my home. It's also picked from the Bible. All right? When we talk about somebody's home being your home, it's like you saying that building a habitable place, all right, of a house becomes mine. You are building, it becomes mine because now I am bound to you. You and I are one. When we move out of the vows, we have nothing. For better, for worse, somebody says they don't like it. In richer, or for richer, or for poorer. The question is it everyone that will be rich? And will we be poor forever? Riches is relational. Otherwise, riches, I want to use a word, is relative. When you think you are rich, somebody think you are poor. When you think you are poor, somebody think you are rich. So it depends on your state and where you're coming from that you may call it riches. So when I say for richer, for poorer, I am aiming at the state in which you are comfortable in disbursing of funds, administering funds, and maintaining funds. All right? As well, I'll link it also it up with material gains. So when I'm loving you and I want to stay with you, I'm loving you also with the state of your financial capacity, material capacity. Again, for poorer. When we talk of poorer, we think of monetary issues and we think of material issues. But somebody can be socially poor, emotionally poor, psychologically poor. The most dangerous of all is when you are intellectually poor. There are people who cannot learn and unlearn. So I know something, and what I know from yesteryear is what stays and sticks with me till I die. And that state, you are saying that for richer, for poor. So you can't stand anywhere and say that my husband is ignorant because you said for richer. All right? And you will have to stick to it. It is not a child's play. It is not for entertaining. And that is why if you get to the Protestant church or the Catholic church, you will not find any wedding with people just talking and shouting and this clap of a thing. And if you get to a very serious Anglican church, the priest will shut you down. Because that's time of the vow exchange that's how we call it, the solemnization. It's solemn, where we sit to muse, to think, to ponder of what we are saying. It's not going to just be a head talk, it's a heart talk. And if you don't understand the weight of it, you lose the essence of it. And so you just go through the ceremony and you end up saying that I didn't mean it. When we get to for better, for worse, that is where the whole show is. You are saying that in all condition, I'm stick and stuck in this. And in marriage, we have twists and turns. We have ups and downs. When you are saying that in all conditions, in health, and life will never give you 100% health. It's something we have to know. And we can't tell which of the sickness or disease that will bedridden you. When you are making that pronouncement, your mind, and I will always tell them, your mind should go to any of your family members you have ever seen bedridden. Just play back that state to want to know that if my spouse will have to be in this condition, will I accept? Will I live with? Will I still be there? When you are saying, what do you call it, for better, for worse, you are claiming that conditions do not matter to this lifestyle. Methodist hymn has this through all changing seasons of life. And that song should be one of the reflection when people want to enter into that vow. Because life gives you different seasons and different times. And before you make that vow, you don't just think, you reason beyond just having the knowledge of it. Look into the future. Picture yourself in old age. Picture yourself in hospitals. Picture yourself. Somebody said, well, I want to take off that one out. You may want to give them a free will, but you have to caution them. But I love it when you can't change it. The reason is because every church that has stayed for long has moved into the institutionalization, where the liturgies have been printed, accepted by the clergy, the hierarchy, and it's something you have to go through it. So if you want to change it, you are saying that those who sat down, planned, and brought it up are not wise enough. You can't change it. So if you want to go through it, you think of the fact that this is what is happening here. This is how we go about it. You accept it, you understand it, you claim it, you work with it.
But Patrick, now looking at the for better, for worse, and then some wanting to take out some portions of the vows that we take, why would someone be able to say, oh, I can take this one in sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, But then when it comes to for better, for worse, as for that one, I can't take it.
So if you can't take it, then walk out. But then straightforward things in life will save us a little bit stress of time and other things. We have a pre-information about all that is going to happen on that fateful day. So before that day, when you think there is no way you can handle it, just walk out.
But then, Patrick, like I said, sometimes it's like you only hear the vow on that day, or probably when you are having the rehearsal, the last day before you get married. That is where you say it. Wouldn't it be too late? Like, say, when you are having the wedding, and then that is where you are seeing the impact of what you are doing. Then you just walk out. Are you not breaking someone's heart?
Auntie Bennett, try to get me from this point. Even before the vows, and something should touch your heart that I'm not ready for this. It's better to whisper to the man of God, turn the wedding upside down, walk out, use the reception as a party of separation, and then let the people enjoy with you, walk away. Don't deceive yourself to this thing. You know you can't handle it. Why do you want to force yourself into it and then go there and then place with somebody's emotions? People should just walk out of things they can't handle. So I don't see the essence of you trying to pretend to be there because friends are there, family members are there, church members are there. So you let me just go into it in a year's time or 2 months' time. Is that the reason why people are walking out of their marriages in 2 weeks' time? 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you are walking out of it. Something somebody have handled for the past 25 years and 3 weeks. So when I speak of schoolboys and girls, plantain chiefs and girls, these people, they don't know how to handle marriage. 3 weeks, you want to, what were you looking for before you went there to take those vows? What were you looking
Rafik,
for?
you mentioned that it is not for schoolboys and girls, but
So
then
if you are
for,
a schoolboy, walk out. You are a schoolgirl, walk out.
all right, but then for matured people.
Yeah.
Now, how can you say, maybe the person believes, oh, I'm mature.
Maturity is about your brains, the way you can handle issues when they come at a certain time, the way you react towards issues and things when they come to you. That will prove your sense of maturity or your level of maturity. It is not about numbers or age.
So what about the men of God who also get divorced?
But then let me put this thing right. God is the final judge, and I'm not here to accuse anybody. And the reason why sometimes I have problem with these men of God when they divorce, to be a leader of your church, remember that over the 5,000, 2,300 souls you have over there, you are the role model they are looking up to. Sometimes these people in the church can look up to the man of God. And I bet you, the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you shape your hair, they want to be like you. That is why you also need to caution yourself about certain things. Should I explore this? It will be a fanfare or a lifestyle for other people also to pick up and go through. What is it that we can solve in marriage? A woman committed an adultery, which the scripture says may be the platform for you to divorce the woman and then split. The man says, I have done more worse things than this, and God has forgiven me. Why can't still I forgive the woman? And let's ride on. And they are moving. So sometimes it's about ourselves. When you have some, you want to get some comfort, some peace of mind for yourself. It's not about the other party. It's about your faith. When this thing begin to trigger you, then you want to push away the other party so that you can have your freedom and do whatever you want to do. I don't see anything coming that will take me out of my marriage. I just don't see. It does not mean we don't have challenges. The challenges are there. We are human. It will come, but we are still there. So people should stop looking at human beings and look up to God. When you look up to humans, you will fall. You look up to God, you will be challenged. When the Bible says, lift up your head so you get, then you, the human beings, also ought to lift up your head and look up to God. Men can disappoint us. Men can deceive us sometimes. Our confidence, our hope, and our assurance should be with the standard of the things of God, not mortal men and mere men. They will deceive you. Marriage is a serious thing.
Reverend, you want to come in?
Yeah, I think you asked the question that why, like
Men
as
of
you were
God,
saying, why
yeah.
men of God also get divorced. The centrality of this issue has to do with people not regarding, if you like, the vow. See, just like you asked the first question, that it's not in the Bible. So why the vow? Now, if somebody who thinks deep get to know that this is not in the Bible, so why the vow? All right. And then he goes to church and he's going to be asked to make a vow. He will make the vow because the church wants it. All right. But human nature, all right, I'm not seeing it as pastors who divorce or mature people who divorce or immature people who divorce. I'm seeing it as human nature, untamed human nature. When a person's life is unable to be controlled by the word of God, such a person, nothing else can hold it. So whether you are a pastor, you are a deacon, you are an archbishop or a pope or whoever, once your life is not tamed by scripture, so to speak, any other thing, you can lose it. And the reason why the vow makes it more potent for marriage to stay together is because of the word, or let me say religion, that tame us. Then the vow, when you take religion serious, any vow you make, you take it serious. Those who don't take religion serious tend not to take vows serious. Because look, you can't go to any shrine to want to make any vow and want to turn your back on it. All right. You can ask these so-called Sakawa guys when they are told to go and sleep in the cemetery or they are told to go and do whatever. And when it is time, you see how no matter what they will do anything just to make sure it is done. But they come to church and then, so religion, if you like, or Christianity is the tool used to tame us. So we take our vows serious. Anyone who is not tamed by his or her religion will never take any vow serious, and hence divorce.
Thank you so much, Reverend and Brother Trick. Unfortunately, our time is up. But then, Reverend, you've summed it up. When you take religion serious, you also take the vows that you make very serious. I hope we'll continue this topic. Thank you so much. Our resource persons, Reverend Felix Pakabenin from Shepherd's Field Chapel, and Evangelist Patrick Tego, CEO, Purity Flag Foundation. Thank you so much, our viewers, for staying tuned to watch. I know you've learned a lot and you enjoyed it. We'll continue this very topic. My name is Benedicta. Thanks so much to my production team, my producer, Anfred, and then Smart, Mamiesi. Today, Regina is not here, so I'll not mention her name. To all those at Osu, Auntie Charlotte, and Mr. Zeytin, hi. Thank you so much. I know you are watching. So we'll have a recap of our previous episode right after this. See you again next time. Bye-bye.